All right, guys. So we have some news straight out of the 1940s/1950s from Atlanta, right? Atlanta Public Schools, the same school district that got caught up in a cheating scandal about 5 or 6 years ago, in which you had a bunch of educators that were arrested for cheating on standardized tests, okay? Trying to fudge the numbers, right? Now, this same school district now has a school, Maryland Elementary School, that allegedly is segregating kids by race. No, I'm not making that up. They are legitimately or allegedly segregating kids by race. And one mother, Miss Kila Posey, filed a federal complaint against the elementary school for this segregation based off race. So before I get into this, I want you guys to watch a news clip to get a better idea of what's going on, and then I'm going to give my commentary. Take a look.
Filed a federal complaint against her child's school, alleging it segregated classes based on race. She says it was put a practice in place by the school's principal, who thought she was doing what was best for every student. Channel 2's Tom Jones has spent weeks looking into this. He reports tonight from Atlanta Public School headquarters, where the district opened that investigation.
Yes, the school district here has looked into these allegations and says it has taken action. Still, parent Kila Posey says she can't believe a principal thought separating students according to race was a good idea.
We've lost sleep trying to figure out, why would a person do this?
Kila Posey says she was stunned when she learned about classes segregated by race at Maryland Elementary last year, a practice she says was put in place and condoned by Principal Sharon Briscoe.
First, it was just disbelief that I was having this conversation in 2020 with a person that looks just like me, a black woman. It's segregating classrooms. You cannot segregate classrooms. You can't do it.
Posey says she found out the school was putting black students in 2 separate classes with 2 separate teachers. The white kids were placed in 6 classes with 6 different teachers. The parent says she found this out when she let Briscoe know she wanted her child placed in the classroom of a teacher she thought would be a good fit. Posey says the principal said that wouldn't work.
She said that that's not one of the black classes, and I immediately said, what does that mean? I was confused. I asked for more clarification. I was like, we have those in the school? And she proceeded to say that, yes, I have decided that I'm going to place all of the black students in 2 classes.
Posey says she insisted her child be placed in a class with white students. She says Briscoe explained her child would be isolated.
And I explained to her she shouldn't be isolated or punished because I'm unwilling to go along with your illegal and unethical practice.
The Poseys recorded a call with an assistant principal where they complained about the segregated classes. The administrator confirmed it was the principal's decision and seemed to offer an explanation why the classes were set up this way.
We have more black kids too, and then some of them are in a class because of the services that they need.
Kila Posey has filed this discrimination complaint with the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. Her attorney, SHARESE Shields, says what's going on at Maryland is a violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 say that you cannot treat one group of people differently based upon race, and that is what is going on at Maryland.
I reached out to Atlanta Public Schools about Posey's allegations. The school district sent me this statement. Atlanta Public Schools does not condone the assigning of students to classrooms based on race. The district conducted a review of the allegations. Appropriate actions were taken to address the issue, and the matter was closed. The district did not say what actions it took. Posey isn't satisfied. She wants the principal and her administration removed for even allowing a system of segregated classes at the school.
My community, had they known about this, would probably be extremely upset. Not just the black parents, but also white parents.
And the Poseys are waiting for the U.S. Department of Education to wrap up its investigation. I'm Tom Jones for WSB Tonight.
All right, guys. I mean, that's absolutely crazy, right? This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe that in 2021, I am legitimately reading a story about this, about real life segregation, right? And it's funny because the person that's responsible for this, the principal, is a black woman. Okay, so that tells me this has something to do with being woke. Okay, this has something to do with being woke. Somebody's a little bit too woke. Soul sister number one, right, is a little bit too woke. Okay, can't blame the white man for this one, right? You would think that according to the race crusaders, right, that if you saw something having to do with segregation, it would be done at the hands of a white man. But no. It is done at the hands of a black woman. And you also have a black mom complaining about it, right? She's the one that's upset about this segregation, okay? This is crazy. But guys, I have a lot more questions than answers regarding this situation. I have a lot more questions than answers. And one of the questions I have is, why? Like, what reason would you want to segregate kids based off race? And I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, listening to her answer about, well, you know, we want to meet the needs of black students. Well, what are you trying to say about black students? Are you trying to say that black students perform differently than white students? And if so, are you saying that they perform better or they perform worse? Because obviously you have teachers assigned to certain students based off of their race, and not all teachers are made equally. So what you're saying is that there's some teachers, right? Some students that are going to get better teachers solely based off their race. So I'm wondering, like, are you giving the better teachers to the black kids, or are you giving the better teachers to the white kids? Right? Like, I mean, those are some legitimate questions. Because if you think black students need more help, which again, in my opinion, it is racist, because you're just assuming that black kids can't perform as well as white kids simply because of their race, then that's again offensive to the black kids. And it's also not fair to the white kids because they don't have access to the best teachers. So again, I have some questions. I have a lot of questions about that, right? Because again, this to me smells woke. I smell some wokeness here. Okay. And knowing the history of this school district, I feel like, you know, this has to have something to do with equity, right? Just assuming that black people, black kids need more help than others solely based off their race. And they have to do this in order to make up for what happened in the past. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. But I don't know, man, because the woke revolutionaries swore up and down that they're trying to get rid of racism. Okay, and you would think that at an elementary school level, right, you would want children of different races interacting with each other. But it seems like in this situation, they don't, because not only are they segregating them by race, but when the parent requested that her child be moved to a different class with teachers that are teaching white students, she said, well, that child has to be separated, right? Like in a corner of the classroom by themselves, as if they don't want black students interacting with white students. So I really don't understand what's going on here. I really don't. My mind is blown here. Okay. I also have questions about how is it that there's not way more outrage over this, right? How is this something that was happening and no other parents complain about it? Like, you know, did kids not go home and say, hey, mom, you know, I went to class today and, you know, everybody in my class is black, right? They all look like me. And I don't know, maybe they got segregated buses too. I don't know, right? Somebody had to notice this beforehand, right? It just blows my mind that only one parent, or maybe there are more parents, right? Maybe they just don't have the full story, that have noticed that this was going on to complain about this. Maybe, right? I find it hard to believe just one person complained about this, because I feel like even if I was a white parent, right, even my kids were in all white classrooms, I would have a problem with that. Why? Because I would have questions about, okay, if you're segregating students based off race, again, am I getting access to the best quality teachers or the worst quality teachers, right? The same concerns that mother had for her child. Is their child getting the best quality education? Are they getting the best access to teachers? And the questions don't just stop there, because the Atlanta Public Schools says, quote, Atlanta Public Schools does not condone the assigning of students to classrooms based on race. The district conducted a review of the allegations. Appropriate actions were taken to address the issue, and the matter was closed. And so I looked up this school and the school principal, and lo and behold, she's still the principal of the school. So that means that the appropriate actions were not taken, because this principal should be fired. The whole administration should lose their job. This is absolutely unacceptable. This is not one of those things where you get a mulligan on, right? When you get a second chance. No, this is a first time offense. You're fired. Because again, this is illegal. You can't do this. We don't live in the 40s and 50s anymore. But again, guys, this is the same school district that got caught up in a cheating scandal, cheating on standardized tests. So again, I'm not surprised by the corruption here. I'm not surprised that the appropriate action was not taken, that this person still has their job, because in no circumstance should she still have her job. And again, I gotta ask, again, if this was a white man segregating students, or a white person, white woman, whoever, I guarantee you there would be way more outrage. I guarantee you people will be losing their minds. The race crusaders would be out in the street demanding justice, right? Saying that this is an example of systemic racism in this country, right? You see it. White people are trying to segregate us. But that's not what's happening. So there's absolute silence on this issue. The race crusaders have nothing to say about this. But I will say this. I mean, in terms of segregating students, I do want to mention, it's not right to segregate them based off race. But I do think that to a certain extent, students, for the most part, right, if you're going to segregate them, it should be based off academic ability, right? Students that are more academically gifted, right, should have their own classes, and students that are not should have their own classes. And I think at that point, yes, assigning teachers based off need, right, I think would be appropriate at that point. I think that makes sense, because you're giving students that are excelling their needs and giving students that are not necessarily excelling their needs. That's how our school system should work. It should cater to your academic ability, right? And a lot of academic ability really comes down to how well the parents are raising their children. Are they reading to their kids? Are they teaching their kids math? Are they educating their children before they even go into school, right? That's such an important part of education that a lot of people overlook, is the parents' role in educating their child, right? And again, it's really sad that this parent is taking an active role in her child's education, and the principal is telling her, you can't get a better teacher, right? You can't get the right teacher because of your child's race. That's just so messed up. And it's one of those things we shouldn't even hear about in 2021. But like a lot of these woke revolutionaries want, they want the equity, right? They want everything to be based off race. And then they're the ones trying to say, oh, well, we're trying to be progressive. No, this is regressive, right? I don't know what more proof can I provide that these so-called progressives are really regressives. They want to take us back to segregation. That's what it seems like. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.